Hello, everybody, then, folks, and welcome back aboard. So, my name's Tom, as you all are aware. Now, I'm going to get straight to the point because I wasn't planning on recording this video by myself, because obviously I was thinking of doing something with Charlie today, but throw that out the window. Now, as a podcaster, as a YouTuber on football, you basically have to follow the road code. You have to look at football and the stats and everything around you, football based. You have to listen, but you also have to think. I've done all three of those things. Now, just as I finished recording yesterday's fan cam, this is not a fan cam, I just made it in time to listen to two excellent testimonies of analysis on the match from both Jamie Carragher and Roy Keane. Similar, very similar, but different. And they were good pieces of analysis, particularly from Jamie Carragher, because I do slate you a lot, matey. And I do think you're a rubbish pundit. However, you said the right thing yesterday, as did Roy Keane. So much so did I get enough out of what those two pundits said that I didn't follow my suit of tradition normally after an Arsenal match or after a Super Sunday with Gary Neville on commentary, which would be listen to the Gary Neville podcast alongside the two or three League Gunner podcasts, which are fan cams from either just Lee, and then Kenny, or Lee, Kenny, and Jez. So I did Lee, Kenny, and Jez, but I didn't listen to the Gary Neville podcast because I felt like I didn't need to. No offense to Gary Neville, but I felt like Jamie Carragher and Roy Keane gave me enough insight. And then this afternoon when I got back home, I listened to Mark Goldbridge talking about the Arsenal Man City game yesterday, and he's not wrong. I mean, obviously the standard of the Premier League football, I'm not that interested at the minute. I don't feel as concerned as him. But on the basis of yesterday's match, I think there's talking points. And this brings me on to say, well, this is not going to be about the standard of the Premier League football. This is going to be about both Pep and Arteta. Because my opinion is that yesterday, if Pep Guardiola, who's a great manager and has won so many trophies for City and turned them into this beast, has now fell down to the point where defeats on a regular basis are coming to Spurs. You're losing to Brighton away consecutively. They've not beaten Brighton now, by the way, in 3 games. Yes, 3. And then yesterday it stooped down to the level where he low blocked us and played. His tactic against us was play us our own game, and it worked. And it really frustrated us. That was still self-inflicted, but not the point. The point is, I think Pep Guardiola is out of ideas at Manchester City. And I think that for him and his own sake, I think the right thing to do would be for him to move on. At the end of the season, I think for Pep Guardiola, there are different opinions on Arteta, but we'll talk about him in a minute because I'm disgusted with him. But for Pep, I think that play out at the end of this season, because they're probably not going to win a league title. Play out at the end of the season, have your traditional goodbye, but go and find yourself a new project, mate, because I think that's what Pep needs. Pep's a great manager. Pep's one of the best. However, Pep Guardiola does need a new project. And I was thinking about it earlier, and I was thinking, okay, so who could that be then? Who could that club be? I think that Pep and Arteta should both stay in English football. But the thing is, they need a new project. I mean, Frank Lampard, for example, I'll give you an example of him. He's been Chelsea manager, 2 to 3 times? But he just kept failing. Now, he's found a place where he can do his own projects and he can succeed and bring up a club gradually, which are Coventry City. So for Pep, yeah, he's been Barca manager. Yeah, he's been all these different clubs managers. I'm not going to go through his list. But I think for Pep, it's time for him to stoop down a bit and find a project. Now, first club that sprang to my mind was Nottingham Forest, because I'm going to say this, it's probably not going to happen. It's a long shot. However, I am disgusted by the way that Nuno Espirito Santo lost his job. I feel like Marinakis is a great owner in the sense of he cares about the club, he cares about the city, but too much. He's in the way too much, and his expectancies are too high. Nuno's a top manager, and Nuno was being, in my opinion, mistreated or mishandled, whatever it may be, by Marinakis. It was the wrong call. And I most certainly don't think it's the way forward for Nottingham Forest, who had a great season last season, who, in theory, was supposed to be building and, still having successful moments this season. Not quite as good as last season because they're going to be tired, but similar. But they've appointed Ange Postecoglou, who is a good manager, but probably not for Nottingham Forest. Probably not for Tottenham Hotspur. Yes, he won them a trophy. Yes, he wins trophies. But is it sustainable? No. That's why Spurs sacked him, because they finished 17th. And I think the exact same thing's going to happen with Nottingham Forest. They're already out of the Carabao Cup. We don't know what's going to happen in the Europa League yet for them. We don't know what's going to happen in the FA Cup and all the rest. But I think that he will hyper-focus on one thing, and Forest will be in the relegation zone area again. And the quality of squad that Forest have got is not right. It's too good to be 17th. But Ange Postecoglou as a manager can't multitask. He'll focus on trophy, but then stoop down in the league. That's what will happen, because that's what he did with Spurs. So for me, I would say get out of jail that one really quickly, Forest. And I think for Pep, Forest may not be the exact club, but I think stay in England, find yourself a new project, and build the club. Make a club exciting. Because Rob Edwards has now got a project. McKenna had a project at Ipswich. There's a project for Lampard at Coventry. There was a project for, Steve Cooper and Nuno at Forest. There's plenty of projects in England for Pep Guardiola, who is a builder, not a rebuilder, quoted from many YouTubers, and now I'm going to say it back. For him to build on. He needs his own project, and he needs to build his own team. So I think stay in England, Pep, but leave City at the end of the season. And I'm going to say the exact thing about Arteta, because, mate, you are a shit manager. I hate you. I really do. But maybe your style of football would work at another club. I think you need to leave Arsenal, and I really want you sacked, because I'm really disgusted in you, and I'm really pissed off at you. But I'm not going to get too angry at you, because I'm going to save my protest for when I go to West Ham in a couple of weeks at the Emirates. Point of the matter is, get out of my club, you horrible man, and go and find yourself a new project. I think you should stay in England as well, but go and find yourself a new project. Pep and Arteta, both of them, know each other inside out. They both need to go and find new projects of their own. They need to go build their own squads, and they need to start from scratch. Because mostly for Pep Guardiola, he is a builder and not a rebuilder. And for Arteta, well, we don't know, do we really? Because he's been feeding off the scraps of Unai Emery and a bit of Wenger probably. And he's been buying all these players. He's had Berta in this season, so bringing all these players in and all that lot and just colliding them together, doing this and that. But it's not working. And his time is up at Arsenal. And I can rest assure you of that. So, for me, Mikel Arteta, I really hate you, mate. I really do. But I would give you a chance to stay in England and find a new project. Both Mikel Arteta and Pep Guardiola need to leave Manchester City and Arsenal and find new projects within England. That, for me, is a chance for Arteta to have another go at management and get his roster up and maybe get some trophies with another club. And for Pep Guardiola to make another club successful. Because I think that Manchester City are a great club. I would rather Man City win the league any day over Liverpool. But that's not going to happen under Pep Guardiola anymore. So I think Pep needs to let go, just like Jurgen Klopp did, and allow somebody else to come in and take the reins at Manchester City, and a new manager to come in, and Pep can create his own story at a new club in England. And for Arteta, get out of Arsenal, get out and go and find another club in England and make your own story. Because here at Arsenal, your time is up, Arteta. And on that bombshell, I'm out of here. We will see you all tomorrow for the Carabao Cup. I just wanted to bring out this video because, yeah, I didn't feel like that fan cam was enough. But there you go. Pep and Arteta leave City and Arsenal and go and find new projects at England and rebuild yourselves, both of you. Pep, go and build your own team at a new club, and Arteta, go and find another project to do. And that bombshell, I'm out.